Hello goat lovers, Crystal, Emily, and Darren here today with Blue Cactus Dairy Goats. And lately, since we've been training these does onto the stand, they have been dropping in their milk. So we've been trying to dial in the perfect feeding ration to get their milk production up and to make sure that they're getting all the feed they need on the stand. Come on, girls. Let's go, let's go. All the way down. There you go, girl. Nope, not quite. There you go. All right.
One more.
Come here, Pepper.
Never mind.
Right down here, baby. There we go. Okay, so they're getting up on the stand. It's only been a couple days since we've filmed this, and they were doing pretty good last time, but they're getting a lot better about getting up on the stand and actually coming down further and putting their head directly into a feeding trough rather than just kind of looking around and wandering around up on the stand wondering what they're doing.
What's up, animals?
Good morning, Maybelline. How we doing, Lodi? You look angry this morning, as usual. Lodi. Alright, so as I mentioned, we were trying to get these girls trained to come up here. We wanted them eager to come up here, and they weren't really that eager to come up because they were getting food and they're not wanting to come up here just to get the good, right? So what we put in their troughs, I did show you guys in the last video, and I'll show you again. But what we've been trying to do is get them dialed into, now that they're coming on the stand and they're eager to get up here, they're real familiar with it. They know the routine at this point. So they know they're going to get their food up here on the stand, but we're trying to dial it in so that we can give them one scoop and not have to refill it or give them a little bit more. So how long does it take them to eat while we're milking all 12 out? And, you know, how happy are they, and is their milk going to drop or is it going to stay the same? So when you're milking them all of the time, twice a day, you can even tell in their udders, like, oh, okay, so they're not as tight as typical, they're not making as much milk. Good girl, good girl. And especially on the first fresheners. So these two here are first fresheners. This is Tippy, the Butterfat Queen, and we got Bessie here. So, you guys know that I'm on milk test, so obviously I don't want them dropping in milk. It was very important that we got them trained to the stand, so we had to drop them in food, just again, so that they'd be super eager to get up here on the stand. And now that they do it, it is time to up their feed. So for the last couple of days, since they've been really good, we have been adding more alfalfa into their diet again. So we're getting them back up to where they should have been. So our last milking, we got 1.5 gallons. And they typically give us 2 gallons per milking. So for all the does. So we literally lost 1/2 gallon. So that's what we're working on. We're getting more alfalfa into their diet so that we can get their milk production up. Because I do have a verification test for one of my milk tests in just a few days. So that's my goal here, getting them back up to where they should be. So now we're up to Miss Abilene. Yesterday, or last night rather, she did pretty good, so. Oh, good girl. She didn't try kicking me this morning. Well, that is some improvement, girl. Oh, let's Get that back on you, eh? There we go. Good job. They're all doing so good. I'm really proud of these girls. So with Mayo rather here, she is one of my biggest producers, and man, you could tell big time that she had dropped. And it's not just the food that we cut back on their feed. It's also the stress of learning something new. It's also been crazy hot. And again, you know, they're pretty late into their lactation at this point. So it's natural for them to drop pretty drastically on any scenario, like any stressful thing or any little change in the diet or any change in the routine. You know, it's normal for them to drop in their milk production. But what you really want to see, once the stress dies down and once you up their feed, you know, we got their feed back to almost normal. Like I said, we're trying to dial it in still, but they have really, just like last night, just the last couple of feedings since we added alfalfa back into their diet, or more alfalfa rather, they're just upping in the milk like really quickly. So that's really awesome to see, especially Mayo, where like I fill her udder, and in the morning in the 12-hour fill, she's usually pretty tight, and you know, other than the last couple of days when we upped their feed again, she hadn't been tight. So, and now she's back to tight. So I bet you she's making just about the same amount of milk she was that quickly. So that's really good to see. Oh, Rugie, you don't have an udder yet. Ruger hates her udder, or what will be her udder, to be touched. So I'm really trying to get her used to it. But look at that. Imagine if she did have an udder and I was trying to milk her. What are you doing, girl? She needs her udder touched. All done, Abilene? Whoopsie. You did so good, girl. Good job. Good job. So in addition to what they're getting on the milk stand, I am just giving them a little bit of alfalfa pellets. So in this pen here, they're getting right now, they're getting a half of one of these scoops of, again, just alfalfa goat pellets. And it does two things. It's giving them a little more alfalfa, which is really high in protein, which helps their milk come up. And also it gets them excited to come back into this pen. So when we first started, it was kind of like, they didn't really want to go. They wanted to go back up the ramp, and they were just kind of fiddling around instead of just running in, which obviously makes life easier. So now we're getting it to they are just kind of running in and wanting to come in and get some of their alfalfa pellets. So it's working really good. Maybelline, so let's see. You ate all your food like a good girl. Mia, you're just a little girl, so you really didn't eat it all.
Good girl.
Lodi, I am a little surprised. You didn't really eat much. No? All right, Bessie. Tippy. Dinky, you did. You ate it all. Hi, Daisy. You ate all of yours? Okay, Lily, this is weird. You ate about half. That's it? Good girl. Hello, Pepper. Okay, you didn't eat much. Mayo. Okay, you ate most of yours, didn't you? So you're good. Abilene, you're just being such a good girl on the stand. I love you. Let's see. You ate about half. Oh my gosh, Ruger, you're not even making milk and you almost finished yours. What's up with this girl? Huh? You need bread. Alright, so as you can see, some of the does ate all of their grain and some of them didn't, which all of them got the same amount. So we're given about 2 to 3 cups in each trough. So again, we're trying to dial it in and figure out how much is the perfect amount for them to be on the stand and also be making good amount of milk, and they're not getting antsy, because this is going to be their main ration of food for the day, or you know, when we're milking, because morning and evening we want this to be That is rude. You already ate all your hay, or all your grain. Anyway, we want this to be where they get their majority of their food. We want to be able to feed them appropriately and watch their weight and things like that. So obviously Dinky here thought that she should eat all of her food, and I'm proud of her for that because that's going to help her milk come back up. Daisy did, and Lily, one of our most dominant does, and she's a big milk producer. She only ate about half, so we're learning as we go, aren't we, girls? All right, let's get you girls back into your pen. Alright, so what I'm going to do now, before we get the second group back up on the stand, is fill their little feeding troughs. So we did change what they're getting here in their little feeding troughs on the stand just a little bit. Alright, so we did add alfalfa pellets into their milk stand ration. And so what it is still just the Nutrina 17% textured top goat with black oil sunflower seeds and alfalfa pellets. So it's 3 parts black sunflower seeds, 3 parts top feed, and 1 part alfalfa. So now at this point, I'm just going to go back through and fill their little troughs. Now, obviously, the ones that didn't eat all of it aren't going to get very much put back into it, but. All the way down. Good girl. Good job. Right there, Casey. Right next to Mama. You got me?
Go, guys.
Come here, baby. Oh, cool. All my milkers are going to be in a row for me on the second batch. Good job.
Keep going,
Come
guys.
here, Lily.
Come on. Move it.
There, you get me in.
Yeah.
There we go.
Okay, honey. Get in.
Hey, girl. Hey, girl, man. Cassie, you're getting so much better at getting on the stand, girl. Good morning, May. How are you, Lid-Eye? I can tell you girls have more milk. You're good, honey. Okay, Ray. See, they all got up on the stand. They're getting so much better about it, you guys. They are learning the new routine. So if you guys see the amount of milk we have right now already, that just a couple days ago is what all of the does gave us. But we still have 6 more milk goes up here on the stand, so we got quite a bit more milk coming. So that's looking good. That's looking promising. Like we're going to get quite a bit more milk, you guys. Like I said, we've been getting typically, before we started this whole new routine, 2 gallons with all of the does. So they've been giving us 2 gallons per milking, 4 gallons a day. And another thing that's factoring into us getting a little bit less milk, not only them dropping in milk production, but we are drying up this girl here. So Maddie here is really unruly for me. She doesn't, yeah. So I'm drying Maddie up is the gist of it because she's just not getting it. So there's not much I can do for Maddie. Me and Maddie don't really have a good relationship. I like Maddie, but Maddie does not like me. So it's just the way she is. She only likes Emily, and she's just going to be like this on the stand. She's not letting us milk her. She's just kicking it off. So we do still let her get on the stand because we still want to feed her. We still want her in that routine since she is part of the herd. But she has her milk star. Well, once ADGA puts it on record, she will already have her milk star. But just with the way she's acting, I just decided to dry her up. And I very well could be drying a couple of the other does up also. Hi, Leia. How did you do? Well, you ate quite a bit for a little girl. See, another thing I really like is Leia, now that she gets to be up on the stand, you know, obviously the little girls, they get to eat as much as they can without having to compete for it. So it's really good for them. Huh, Wildy? And you ate all yours. Good job, Dreamer. Not so much, huh? You ate all yours. Oh, you'll let me give you scratches up here, Maddie. Just not from your back end, right? You left a couple pellets is all, huh? Ray. All right. How about you, Miss Honey? Not too much. Abilene, you picked through for the pellets, huh? Yes, you didn't eat as much as I'd like you to eat either. May. And May being one of the older girls, yes, she still fights. And, you know, she's no pushover by any means, but she's older and doesn't necessarily want to fight the girls for her food either. So she ate all of hers, which means she was hungry, huh? So good job. How about you, Cassie? Almost all of it. And Cammie, you ate every little last drop. You girls are doing good. We're figuring it out. So like I said, we are still trying to dial it in and figure out what the perfect amount of feed on the stand is. And now obviously we're aware that some of the goaties are little, some of them are big. However, the way they come in, if we were to grab them and each one gets their own slot every single day and that's what we feed, then that's gonna get really, really time consuming. So we're just gonna let them come in as they go, and you know, just because a big doe might get to that feeder, we wanna make sure we put the ration a big doe needs in the feeder so that they don't run out while they're on the stand and they get adequate feed. And then the little babies, if they don't eat it all, they don't eat it all, and we just don't add as much to the next group of does. So far it's working, and it looks like we did get almost 2 gallons today, you guys, even with drying up Maddie. So we are doing better in the milk production area, which makes me very, very happy, because again, we have a verification test, so a milk test where the certified milk tester is going to come out and do the test with me to make sure that their pounds and their weights are similar to what I've been sending in myself. They're doing pretty good, and they're up in their milk, and they're better on the stand, and every single day gets a little bit better. So I'm just really, really excited. Still loving this stand, you guys, and now that we're getting their milk back up, I'm feeling a lot better about it. Keep going, girls. Keep going. Come on, come on. Go, Leia. Leia. So much better. Good job, girls. I can already tell, obviously, that these girls gave me quite a bit more milk, probably not a full 2 gallons, but a couple days ago they gave me exactly 3 jars, which equals 1.5 gallons. So let's just see how much more they gave us. Sweet, you guys, so almost back up to 2 gallons, and this is with Maddie being dried up, so we're down 1 goat, but that is almost 2 gallons, so they literally are giving me this much more milk in just a couple of days. Proud of my girls. All right, let's get this turned into some soap. Today we're going to have some fun making our salty sea bar. Now this bar is a really excellent bar. It is chock full of sea salt, and adding salt to a soap bar is actually really, really great for the skin. Not only is it a mild exfoliant, but it has lots of magnesium, potassium, iodine, calcium, so it adds a lot of benefits to the skin. So that dark blue color that you see is actually indigo, and it is charcoal. So it has another addition to, you know, pull out any impurities, so it has just enough charcoal to help benefit the skin without drying it out. So this is a great bar. Let's get going. Alright, so we got our oils here. We're going to add our beautiful goat's milk. Thank you, ladies. Not pretty. Okay, so first we're just going to start by mixing that in. This bar does not have a scent. Now when I say that our bars, some of the bars are unscented, it still has a really lovely earthy smell from just all of the wonderful oils that are added into it. But literally this one's just going to have a little bit of charcoal, some indigo, and some sea salt. So if you've seen me before, sometimes I will add, it looks like the clays I'm adding have a little liquid added to them, and the reason I do that is it just depends where I'm adding this stuff at. So I'm not going to add my lye into here until I have all of my indigo and my charcoal mixed in together, and because I can do that now because the whole bar is that color, I'm not worried about putting a little bit of oil to get it thinned out. So when I do that, it's because I've already added the lye and I just don't want to have to mix it in very long. So let's go. It just makes the most beautiful deep blue color. I really love this bar. All right, let's get going. How beautiful is that color, you guys? All right, now for the lye. Alright, so this one is a little bit different. I do need to mix this until it's a little bit thicker, just simply because when I add the sea salt, I need it to hold in place and not all just sink to the bottom. So at this point it is all mixed together, but definitely not as thick as I need it to be. It's getting little bubbles on the top too here, so we need to make sure we get rid of some of those. Alright, let's give it a little bit longer. Okay, that is looking good. So if you guys can see that there, you see how it's a real thin pudding consistency, and that's what we're looking for. You don't really want it getting too much thicker, because the more time we take, the thicker it's getting anyway. So, all right, let's get our sea salt. Just stir it in. But don't stir it too long, because you don't want it you don't want it to dissolve. You just want to have those big chunks of salt throughout the soap so that they can still be exfoliating when you use the bar. So perfect. That's also still creamy enough that it's going to pour lovely into the molds. Okay. All right, here we go. Such a pretty color. I'd say indigo is probably one of my favorite natural dyes for the soap. And it is just flower petals is what it is, but I just love it. It's probably not a secret that I love blue. Okay, we're just gonna level it out a little bit here. This topping is actually one of my favorites. I just think it looks too pretty. So here we go. So all we do for this one is it's going to get 3 swipes down the middle of it with your little spoon. So here we go. Another really, really awesome thing, if you are the one that has to unmold your soaps and wait for them to cure and things like that, salt really hardens the bars, so they just unmold so perfectly and beautifully. All right, so that's the topping on that. I just think that looks really pretty. And this one, I actually do like to see it get some ash. Sorry, I couldn't think of the word. It's called ash, so it'll just get like this light white powder on the top, and it is just simply because of the temperature and so forth. But it just makes it look so much neater with the ash on it. I don't like ash on all of them, but this bar, ash is just very fitting. It just makes it that much more pretty. There. Oh, I love it. Check it out. Alright, well I'm going to get these in the cooler box, and if you guys have not tried the Salty Sea, go ahead and go on over to our Etsy shop. The link's in the description below. Your skin will thank you. You will not be disappointed. But that is it for today, you guys. We will see you again soon.